Howdy, folks. It's Peter here again with great ideas with great minds. Today's episode is all about a can-do versus should-do attitude. And before you cry out in outrage, whoa, that's not an invention. Well, I gotta give some props to academic researchers, and so sometimes I feel like it's a good idea to throw out some things that can be researched or worked on. And so today, I'm dressed up like a good old pitch artist because I'm going to talk to you about motivation. I think I should look the part. Anyway, down to the hard facts and the hard truths of a can-do versus should-do attitude. So, if you're a type A personality, like a former version of myself, you know that should is a big old word that pops in the noggin a lot. I should write the paper, I should go exercise, I should sleep, I should really talk to this person, I should get this job. And most of that happens while you're doing something at the moment. While I'm doing my homework, I should be doing something else. While I'm doing my sleeping, well, I probably should not be sleeping and working on more homework. While I'm talking with a friend, I really should be working on homework. When I'm working at my job, I really should be getting some relaxation time. When I'm doing my relaxation time, I really should be doing some homework or my job, or talking to a friend, or walking the dog, or maybe picking up a bite to eat, or maybe picking up a book. Whatever you do your list with, it gets pretty endless, and it gets pretty stressful too. Believe me, I can't tell you the number of times I've wound myself up around a corner just trying to keep up with all that. Yeah, so something that seems like a really good idea, the should of being productive, of keeping you going, of supposedly generating those new ideas, what if it's not all it's cracked up to be? And before you say, whoa, Peter, the whole premise of this is working with new ideas of things we should do. Well, if that's what you believe, then I apologize for misleading you, because this is all about things we can do, not what we should do. If you should do it, then I probably would have done it already, and it would be already done. But we can do it. And that's millions of miles of differences. Because can offers the ability to go to a can't. So, I can work on this project, but right now I can't because, well, I'm in the middle of streaming something. And if I start doing my reading and my homework and my eating, well, it's going to be a pretty boring stream. So, isn't it good that I'm only doing one thing right now? I can do a lot of things, but I also can't do them right now. When I'm working on my homework, I cannot work on my outside work. When I'm on my job, I technically can do other things, but I'm pretty sure my boss does not look too kindly on it if I'm checking all my other emails or my Facebook, or, doing a little round at 20, 48, whatever it is. But if I focus on just what I can and can't do, it opens things up. All of a sudden, when I'm with a friend, I can talk to them because I can't do anything else at that moment. Sure, if I have to go do homework, I can cut things off and say, I actually have to work on homework. But the whole time, I'm not looking at my head and saying, I should be working on homework, or I should be talking to my friend. I'm doing that. And doing that keeps the singular mind going. And all of that allows you to just live. And so to make this into something that I guess is an idea invention, yes, it can go beyond academics. Let's invent the new can-do attitude. Because if you heard your parents or grandparents or your coworker or your teacher talk about that can-do attitude, that's all about supposedly being really peppy and getting things done. And not to discount that, that's a pretty good attitude to have, and there's a reason that people who have a can-do attitude probably go pretty far in life. But let's readjust that. Instead of just being on task to saying, I can do that, that's the whole motivational speaker part. I'm not going to go into that aspect. Let's work on the new can-do attitude. The new can-do attitude is the idea of looking at can and should. Not just being the bright eye saying, oh gee, boss, I can get this done. It's going so much more beyond that. And that's what makes it more complex and more applicable and more helpful. And who doesn't like that? This new can-do attitude would have you, wherever you are, being there and not somewhere else. And that seems a little strange because supposedly it's the idea to think ahead that gets you ahead, isn't it? It's the ability to be one step ahead on the markets, or one step ahead on being an inventor, or seeing real estate and grabbing it before anyone else does that gets you rich and successful, isn't it? But does that make you happy? If your head is always on where can I make my next buck, or where can I get the next piece of property, or who can I persuade next to win this, when are you actually present for what you're doing now? When are you present when you're negotiating your deal now? When are you present for when you're talking to your person now, your family now, your friends now? Because most of those times, from my experience, it ends up getting kind of muddled. When you're talking with your friends, you're looking at the way to do your next pitch. And the strange thing is, both suffer for it. Sure, I might be a little bit of ahead, but if I'm never fully present with my friends and family, relationships get a little bit tattered because you can say it or you can have it unsaid, but attention is something people notice. If you're not there during work because you're all focused on how much you hate your job, it's noticed. If you don't want to be at home because being with your family just drives you nuts, it's noticed. And you know what? It hurts you the most. Sure, relationships can suffer and your work can suffer, but it's even more harmful when yourself is suffering. And that's weird because you usually would be so focused on trying to fix everything else, but what if you're actually harming yourself? Because if you're so afraid from not being able to be rejuvenated by your family, if you're so afraid that you're not able to feel accomplished by your work, if you're so afraid that you're not able to feel any enlightenment from your academics or whatever you do or your crafts, there's never a time to recharge. There's never a time to feel grounded. You're just drifting the whole time. And that's exhausting. You can probably push for a good number of years. I mean, some people go their whole lifetimes doing it. But is that any way to live? To live with only half-filled relationships? A job that doesn't ever fully satisfy you? I mean, there are people out there who are doing a job that you absolutely would hate, and they're loving every minute of it. Not because it's supposedly an awful job, but because they're present, and they know how to get through it, and work with that. And that is the whole mindset that allows you to survive and thrive. So, this idea of a can-do versus should-do attitude is not the next quick step to make you $1 million. Although hopefully, by adapting it, it will save you a little bit of therapy. Might save you from hitting the booze. Hopefully save some of your relationships. And might give that relationship or your job or whatever else is lagging behind a little bit of a spark. Because ultimately, the only thing that can change is you. Everything else is going to go as it wants. But all that can be done and all that you can do is be where you are right now and work on that and live it. Forget the shoulds. They'll come or they won't. That's how it goes. If you're in the weeds of the shoulds, you'll never find them. They're going to be gone because there's a billion of them. Let yourself just be. So, whether it be in work or doing some new academic paper about not just positivity, but reframing your focus, this reinvention of a can-do attitude hopefully can change your life. It's changed mine. So, thank you for listening. Always value your time. Wish you a wonderful day. Make some of it. You're loved. Bless. See you next time.